If you're on the market for a premium two-row SUV, but you don't necessarily want to hop on the bandwagon and get something from the Germans, this is a Volvo XC60, the most popular model Volvo currently makes. It is also a plug-in hybrid. But today we're not only talking about this, we're actually stacking up with that. That's right, this is the Range Rover Velar. Although I've never really thought to cross-shop a Volvo with a Range Rover, these two vehicles are actually very similar and have a lot in common. So let's jump right into it. On my right is a 2024 Volvo XC60 Recharge Black Edition, and to my left is a 2024 Range Rover Velar Dynamic HSE P400. Both vehicles are essentially fully loaded versions of themselves, and they both have a price tag of around 100,000 Canadian dollars. 97 for the Volvo and 102 for the Velar. In terms of the exterior, both of these vehicles feature LED headlights, LED taillights, black front grille, parking sensors, 360 cameras, as well as huge black alloy rims. 22-inch on the Range Rover and 21-inch on the Volvo. Now, I think the Volvo looks pretty good. However, in my opinion, the Range Rover Velar is undeniably better looking. It just looks so cool and so royal. And you also get heated windshield and pop-out door handles. When it comes to the trunk area, the Velar has its wiper hidden up here, whereas the Volvo has its wipers over here. The Velar is a longer vehicle, so visibly it also has a bigger trunk. However, on the Volvo, you actually get two buttons down here to adjust the air suspension for easier loading and offloading, as well as a nice little pass-through for your skis. But over on the Velar, you get a 40-20-40 fold-down pattern, which could be very handy. Last but not least, the Volvo offers a close and lock button up here, whereas the Velar doesn't. This, I think, could be a very handy feature. The biggest difference between these two vehicles is what's under the hood. One uses a mild hybrid system, the other uses a full-on plug-in hybrid system. In the Range Rover, the Velar uses a 3-liter inline-6 turbo engine with a mild hybrid system as well as an electric supercharger to produce 394 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, whereas on the Volvo it uses an inline 4 2-liter turbo engine paired with an electric motor in the rear to produce 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. Both these vehicles uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, but they are sourced from different places. Range Rover uses a ZF unit, whereas the Volvo uses an ASIN unit. Both these vehicles are also all-wheel drive. However, in the Volvo, it uses an e-all-wheel drive system, meaning that the rear wheels are only powered by the electric motors. There's no physical connection between the engine and the rear wheels. Now, both of these vehicles have leather interior, panoramic sunroof, as well as upgraded sound system. But let's jump inside and check them out. First, in the XC60, this is an all-black interior. The leather surfaces are really soft, and the seats are actually quite sculpted. So you feel like it's kind of hugging you, and it feels quite nice. However, you can't recline these seats, nor do you get a tri-zone climate controls. Only the heated seats controls here and a couple of USB ports. On the other hand, the Range Rover Velar has a two-tone ebony and cloud interior. The seats don't feel as sculpted, nor do they feel as soft. However, the materials here feels more high quality and more prestigious. Also, you can recline these seats. Just gotta press this button and you can slowly recline. Also has heated seats, and you get tri-zone climate control. Both these vehicles offer very similar amount of legroom as well as headroom. The front row of the XC60 has a head-up display, a fully digital instrument cluster, as well as an 8-inch infotainment screen. The instrument cluster doesn't offer much customization, but it does show you the map in the center. The infotainment screen doesn't offer wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but it does have Google Voice Control, which works really well most of the time. The dash design looks a bit dated and the user experience is a little bit plain. However, the leather surface and soft touch material extends to the top of the dash, which is fantastic. The front row of the Velar offers a pretty similar setup compared to the Volvo, with a head-up display, a fully digital instrument cluster, as well as a center infotainment screen. However, in this application, the 11.4-inch infotainment screen is accompanied by 0 physical buttons. The software on the Velar also has more features like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also offers a lot more customization between the screens. However, it is painful to use while driving because everything is controlled through the screen, and I have to look away from the road all the time to make adjustments on the screen. To make things worse, the voice control pretty much never works, which is a huge disappointment. In terms of the front row design, the Velar definitely looks a lot more modern. Paired with the super comfy headrest, it makes the front cabin a very sublime environment to be in. However, it seems like Range Rover has cheaped out in certain areas of this Velar interior. For instance, the hard plastic front upper dash, as well as the removal of the second screen that controls the climate control in the pre-refreshed model. I want to first talk a little bit about the emotions. How this car makes me feel when I'm driving it. I feel, to be honest with you, very cool and very elite, let's put it that way. Sure, the infotainment is hard to use. Sure, the dash is hard plastic, but I'm in a Range Rover. I'm driving a Range Rover. People turn their heads to look at me because I'm in a Range Rover. The Range Rover name, the Range Rover brand just elevates everything so much more for me in terms of emotions. And yeah, I understand this is just a logical side of me talking about it, but I don't get this feeling when I'm driving the XC60. In terms of ride quality, considering the Velar is running on 22-inch rims, the air suspension system does a pretty good job providing me with a smooth ride. I do, however, think that it's a little bit floaty though. The XC60's air suspension feels a little bit more control and it gives me a little bit better road feel. But in this one, you can manually adjust your ride height, meaning if you want it to be a lowrider, you can, or if you want to be a lifted truck, you can also do that. They're all just a few presses away. When it comes to safety features, both vehicles pretty much have everything you need. They both have emergency braking, they both have lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, lane centering assist, as well as blind spot warning. The lane keep assist or lane tracing is a little bit better on the Volvo. The Volvo seems to be able to track lanes a little bit better compared to the Range Rover here, but the Range Rover has a very neat and very impressive park assist that seamlessly turns on when you're parking. So it seems like they're pretty evenly matched. I do have one complaint though. Neither of these vehicles give me an audible warning for the blind spot warning. They just kind of flash. They don't beep me, which I think is pretty essential. Before we switch into the XC60, let's see what a 3-liter inline-6 mild hybrid system gets you. Not bad. Alright, first things first, let's do a little sign test, shall we? Oof. This feels way more powerful and way more instant compared to the Velar. The Velar sort of hesitates a little bit off the line, and the power doesn't come as linear as I would expect from a mild hybrid system, especially when paired with an electric supercharger. It also has somewhat of a weird throttle mapping where initially it is a little bit sluggish on acceleration, but if you just press on the throttle just a little bit more, a surge of power hits you. On the other hand, this powertrain, however, it just feels a little bit more mature. The engine and the motors work quite harmoniously together, giving me a, very strong acceleration off the line if I floor it, or a very smooth acceleration when I'm not driving like a maniac. I would say, however, that the Velar engine with its 3-liter inline-6 is more prestigious and definitely sounds better with that sonorous inline-6 growl. In terms of fuel economy, as you'd expect, the Volvo does significantly better in the city because of its true hybrid system. This manages between 9 to 10 liters per 100 kilometers, whereas the Velar only manages about 12 liters. Not saying that the Velar does poorly, but definitely not as good as this one in the city. Oh, and that's after battery depletion, by the way. If you drive it with the combination of electric only range, then you can get as low as you like. 0 liters per 100 kilometers if you just use electric power. But anyway, on the highway, however, they both manage 8 liters per 100 kilometers, which I think is very, very impressive from the Velar's 3-liter turbo inline-6 engine. Alright, to wrap things up, both these vehicles are great in their own rights. The Velar offers beautifully stunning exterior design as well as a prestigious ownership experience. On the other hand, the Volvo XC60 is a stealthy sleeper, allowing you the versatility of driving it in full electric mode in the city, hybrid efficiency on long trips, as well as 523 pound-feet of brute force. Both these vehicles are around the $100,000 mark, and they both offer a lot of features and goodies. However, unless you really need to run errands in full electric mode, I think that the Velar offers a little bit more value. The Velar offers a few more features, and it also has the backing of the Range Rover brand. Ultimately, to dumb it all down, the Velar looks a little bit better, but the XC60 drives a little bit better. What do you guys think? Which one would you pick out of these two, or would you pick something entirely different? Comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That wraps it up for us today, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.